Hello, and welcome to Pretty Much Anything Nerdy, a podcast about nerd culture and the things happening in it. This week we'll be catching up on some animes, including the recently released The Promised Neverland, and Merrick shares his thoughts about a few new video games. I will be talking about a recent playthrough of the board game Eldritch Horror, and then we will discuss our top 10 anime characters. This is episode 3 of the podcast, and I'm your host, Lake Sprenkle, joined today by my co-host, Merrick Legutki.
What's up?
And our good friend, Mason.
Yo.
Alright, so just to get things started, a little bit of housekeeping, basically. I wanted to talk about the schedule of this podcast. Our first few episodes are being released weekly because we basically started recording before we were completely ready to post everything, which is okay. We just wanted to be able to really get some content out and get our foot basically through the door and get a good running start. But basically, with the release of this podcast, or this episode, episode 3, it will be going by a bi-weekly setup. But with that, we're going to go ahead and go into what we've been watching. And I think we're all very excited to be talking about The Promised Neverland.
Yes.
Yes.
Very excited. We talked about it a little bit in our first episode.
You guys finally got caught up. That's it.
Yeah. We when we talked about it in the first episode, we actually thought it was coming out, or I thought it was coming out this spring. So it was a pleasant surprise. Like a couple days after we recorded the first episode, I found out that it aired, and it took me a while to finally watch it, and then I binged the whole thing like in one night last week. Not that it's a lot, only 5 episodes.
I bet you binging is bad. I've watched it week to week, and it's like, oh my god, like the cliffhangers. And
Oh my gosh, it's
it.
very suspenseful.
I can't imagine, like, the tension and all that. Yeah, I originally was just going to watch, because I was sick. I spent the whole last week sick, and I was like, oh, I'll watch one episode before bed, and then I'll sleep, get over the cold. And one episode turned into, like, the first 4, and then the way that one ended, I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to bed now. I'm going to be awake the rest of the night. But, yeah, I've loved it so far.
Yeah, it's that first episode that gets you hooked, too. Because I remember I watched it, and like my jaw literally dropped, like, when they go down to the gate. Oh, my God. Like,
yeah, you knew something was up. They make that very clear, but it definitely wasn't quite what I expected. I definitely like the way it's going. It makes for an interesting story for sure.
demons. That's
Yeah.
the plot twist.
Yeah.
They're feeding the kids to demons.
Yeah, the way I would compare how I felt after watching the first episode is pretty close to how I felt watching the first episode of Attack on Titan.
Right, yeah.
You know, where the mom gets eaten, you're just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite as gory.
No,
which
not
was
as gory, but almost a bit more messed up. Like, I mean, you know, getting
Oh, for
watching your
sure.
They're
mom get
basically
eaten.
cattle.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Not only that, it's like this sweet, innocent girl. And they definitely set her up. I knew it was going to be her. I mean, obviously her name's on the calendar and everything, but I was like, oh man, this poor girl.
she's so cute. The show does such a good job drawing, like, cute kids.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of feel bad for them. Like,
Yeah, they're just going to get eaten.
yeah. You know what's really cool that I noticed? So if you look at the poster for The Promised Neverland, like, I always thought it was them standing on a clock.
No.
It's a dinner plate.
Yep.
Yep.
What?
And that, yeah, and the hands of the clock are a fork and a knife. And it kind of looks like a pocket watch in the background, you know, like you open and close a pocket watch.
Yeah.
But it is I can't for the life of me think of what
The,
it's
like,
called.
serving tray.
Yeah, the serving
Yeah.
tray. Yep.
Well, this is definitely, like, it's a ticking time bomb until they are meals. So
Exactly.
they have to literally, like, just train, and if Emma really wants to get all the kids out, then they have to find out a way to do it something.
Yeah, and so that's why I thought it was a clock at first. And then I noticed the other day, I was like, whoa.
Well,
Yeah.
something in the recent episode just got dropped with Ray being
I did not see
Mama's
this coming.
spy.
Yo,
What do you guys think about that?
Norman is a genius. That's how I'll say it. Because the way they end episode 4 is being like, oh, you're the spy, right? And it's just episode ends.
Oh, yeah, that plot twist, and that just... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the crazy thing about that is if you read the manga beforehand, they end the chapter with Norman going, "Oh, so you're the spy, Ray?" And he smiles. So the last panel is him smiling, so you know something's up. But in the
Oh, my
anime,
gosh, yeah.
it ends with just Ray looking at him like blank stare. So it kind of like was really cool to like. I guess
Look at the
anime people
difference.
didn't really know until the next episode.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that you see a lot of character out of Ray in that, basically episode 5, the most
Yeah,
recent
he
episode.
pulled a late Yagami just laughing and that like maniacally.
Yeah, it
and
was kind of
everything.
creepy.
Yeah, it was funny though.
Another cool thing to notice is I noticed it rewatching it the other day. Ray's smile, he tries to do the exact same smile that the mom does. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool little things. So
I still don't know if I can trust Ray, though. I know he's saying he's in it, but I still don't really trust him.
I don't. I think that there's something else up. And you obviously know that he also plans to only escape with those 3.
Yeah. Something's going to happen. I'm not expecting them to escape with all the kids.
No, there's no
No.
way.
So something's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be.
I think they're going to try to escape, and Emma's going to stay behind.
You think so?
And then Norman's just going to go with Ray and try to find another way to break him out, maybe.
That would be interesting.
That's just my prediction.
I don't know. I like Norman a lot as a character. So far, like he has these moments where he kind of like wafts back and forth between genius and like caring friend. You know, like the way you'll notice the way they animate him, like the looks on his face.
Yeah, well, Norman is very much the balanced character between them, especially when you look at how they basically react to their feelings. Emma is very strong towards keeping the family together and basically the whole house being a family, where Ray is very much, I don't care about them. Norman's the happy middle that really ties them.
I can also see Norman sacrificing himself for Emma. I could just see that happening.
Yeah,
being the
I
first
hope that
main
doesn't
character
happen.
to hit Bite the Dust.
Yeah. I like Norman a lot.
I do too.
I really do.
But I can see it.
Yeah, they're all very cool characters. I would imagine, though, they'll all survive a pretty long time if they want this anime to make it.
I love the way they animate the faces. Like, they do such a good job of making someone look scared.
Yeah, well, and the way they're drawn, their facial structures are different from other animes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed that. Like, the eyes are a little lower.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really neat.
A lot of the nose is non-existent sometimes.
Yeah. I find it really interesting. It's always really cool in an anime to see how they do little things to animate emotions. And I always really appreciate like the little extra steps and just the look on Emma and Norman's face in the first episode, you know, when the twist hits. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you feel for them, you know, like you can tell they're scared, which is...
Yeah, and you know what it is before they do, just off of their face.
Yeah, so, man, it's cool. It's killer. I love it. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be like a week-to-week thing that I catch up on every time.
Yeah. Which I'm excited for, because, I mean, other than My Hero, usually I don't watch much week-to-week. It's kind of more of a binger. This is definitely one I won't be able to binge. I'll have to watch.
I don't like to do week to week, but I'm like forced to do it. It's like things like One Piece and different things. But
I actually don't mind the week to week now. I've just gotten into picking up a few, and usually that's whatever my weekday off. That's kind of my thing to do in the mornings to wake up, and I'll catch up on my week to weeks, and it's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
you get used to it.
Yeah, and it's nice to have something that's not like, oh man, I have to grind out 6 more arcs before I'm caught up or at the end or wherever you're at.
Yeah, that is true. It is nice in that sense. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to watch how everything unfolds. I'm really interested to see, because it's a shonen, so the very beginning so far hasn't really felt.
I wonder
like
which
shonen.
one of them's going to want to become Hokage.
Yeah. I'm going to go Ray.
Really? I think it's very
twist.
Sasuke vibe.
Plot twist, yeah. Ray. Yeah. They have the same hair.
Wait, Sasuke and became Hokage.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see.
I don't know. We'll see how this all comes together. This is
Emma.
definitely one that we'll be catching up on soon and letting you guys know what we think. Do we know how many episodes this one is going to be for the first season?
I don't know.
I'm not sure either. It's the manga's so popular. It was the 8th best-selling manga in 2018. I'm going to guess it gets a 25 episode.
Yeah.
That seems to be like the norm for the bigger animes nowadays is 25.
Yeah, because now the only ones that continuously run is like Black Clover, One Piece, a lot of shonens, and I guess Fairy Tail. A lot of them kind of just do seasons now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this is definitely one I feel like it is a little bit slower. A lot happens in each episode, but they're definitely nowhere near their end goal for what we believe to be this season.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very narrative-driven, which I enjoy.
Mm-hmm. Another anime that I just caught up on, it finished its first season finally, is Goblin Slayer. Yes. So I was a little skeptical.
Everyone should be skeptical about this one, especially the first episode. It's I was warned before I watched the first episode.
As was I. I was warned by Mason.
Literally, yeah. I was warned. I warned Lake, but literally the warning was, "Oh yeah, Goblin Slayer. Oh yeah, it's pretty cool." But towards the end, there's a rape scene, and I was like, "What?"
Right. So they make you think in this show, obviously Goblin Slayer, the main character, or one of the main characters, is a dude who just slays goblins. He's got a vendetta against goblins. They basically raped and pillaged his village when he was young. That was an odd rhyme to say.
Yeah, I liked it.
but now he comes back, and that's all he does. He has no goal other than to destroy all goblins.
Well, that's what makes it so cool too. Is there's a tier system with heroes there. They call them heroes, like heroic knights and all that. There's like silver, there's like porcelain, silver. There's like all these other diamond, everything all the way going up. And he's, I think, what is he?
He's a silver, which is like the usual hero rank. Yeah. That's what most people in the guild who are experienced heroes are.
Yeah, but he could definitely go higher, but he just wants to kill goblins. Say like there's a dragon quest, you get a lot of money, he's nope, goblins. Or there's like save a princess in the tower, he says nope, kill goblins. Like that's the entire show, and he builds this party, and it's kind of cool.
Hey,
right, and he takes a lot of flack for this too. Like people don't respect him as an adventurer. But then, all of a sudden, people are kind of coming out from basically all over whatever this land is looking for him. Because while people are out slaying dragons and slaying demon lords and stuff, there's this whole underlying problem of these goblins all over.
Yeah, goblins are a big problem. Like a lot of how it starts out is all these like beginner adventurers see this goblin quest. And they're like, oh, this is easy. We'll just clear out the sewers of goblins. It'll be easy. And these goblins just overtake them, and that's what happens. All of them die, except Priestess, who is one of the main characters.
Right, yes. Basically, Goblin Slayer comes in, and he's able to save the Priestess girl, and everyone else, unfortunately, dies in this beginner's party.
Besides the girl that,
Yes.
Yeah.
Another weird thing about this show, as we just basically alluded to, no one has names. At least none of the main characters. They literally go by Goblin Slayer, Priestess, High Elf.
Cowgirl.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Merrick?
Sounds like something I need to check out.
Yeah, it was definitely an anime that's pitted against other ones. I know people were like, is it Reincarnated as a Slime better? Goblin Slayer, which one's better? Which one should I watch? And they're very different, but they have like the same kind of setting, like fantasy, medieval-ish.
It's very much a fantasy setting. It's a very dark story, though, overall. Much more than you may be led to believe. Honestly.
Yeah, because I found myself like on the edge of my seat sometimes watching the show because of the implied rape. Like any female character that is like taken down by a goblin, it's like, oh no, please, not again. Like, not again. Like, and then it just like someone comes in and saves, and it's just very stressful.
Yeah. Like I said, very dark theme to it, but very interesting to watch. The characters are very fun to watch.
Yeah, and they have depth too. They go through like backstories and everything. And it's just badass. Goblin Slayer's badass, man.
Yeah, I need to check it out. I need to watch it. I've got a new personal rule. I was talking to Mason about this the other day. I have a new rule. I'm not going to start anime late at night, even though I just said I did that for the Promised Neverland. Because, probably about a month or so ago, Mason and I watched the first couple episodes of Reincarnated as a Slime for me. But I fell asleep during the first episode, woke up, fell asleep again during the second episode.
That was mad.
Yeah, I'm sure you were mad. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, mind you.
It's like that YouTube video that you show your friends. Like, this is funny, and they don't laugh, and you're like, God, oh, God.
Yeah. And so, like, I fell asleep during it, and I'm really bad about, I hate rewatching things that I've watched, unless, I genuinely, love it 100%. But I tried to rewatch Reincarnated as a Slime the other day, and I had a hard time getting into it because I was like, oh, wait, I've seen this. And then I would fast forward, and then I'd watch something that I don't remember this. And then I'd be like, oh, wait, I have seen this, and I would fast forward.
Because you were blacking in and out.
Yeah, pretty much from sleeping.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've done that, too.
Yeah. But, so that's my new personal rule, like, not to watch anime late, because I really want to watch Reincarnated as a Slime, but I feel like I can't just jump into episode 3.
Yeah.
But I'm having a hard time rewatching episode 1 and 2.
Honestly, I would say jump into episode 3 and just watch some new material to get yourself hooked. And if you finish the season, just go back and refresh on
That's
it.
a good idea. That's a good way to do it. Maybe I will do that.
But Goblin Slayer, check it out. I would recommend 10 out of 10. I'd say 8.9 out of 10.
I think I gave this about a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
But I'm also very stingy on how I rank. I've never given anything
if it's
a
hype
10.
for me, I rank it very high. I'm like hype is a very high tier thing for me. If it was like a ranking system of how you would score it, hype is number 1 for me, and it definitely has hype.
I need to check it out.
But yeah, I don't think I have anything else, anime or otherwise, that I've been...
Nothing too much. The one I would briefly touch on is I started rewatching ReZero again. Mason and I binged the first half of it way back. I think it was like March. Funimation released the dub.
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, and they released 12 episodes at once, and we watched the full 12 in like a day. We're like, oh, this is
It was so good, but we were like, oh, we'll just wait for the dub.
Yeah, and then so they're like, oh, the second half of the dub will be released later. And it was supposed to come out in September. We checked September, it didn't come out. Checked in December, wasn't there. And actually now, if you go on the Funimation app, ReZero is there, but if you click on it, there are no episodes.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I just, like, decided to check into it. I was going to finish it subbed. And then I noticed that it was finished dubbed, and I was like, oh, wow, what the heck? So I watched I've watched 13 and 14 of ReZero, and I was excited to watch it, but it kind of stinks because it was almost a year ago now that we watched the first half of it. And so, but I mean, it was good. I'm excited. I'm just confused as to why it never popped up on Funimation, because the beginning of
I just forgot about it.
The beginning of the episode still have like the Funimation credit at the front, or at least 13 did. I don't think 14 did.
Someone's just probably in charge and just forgot about it. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, other than that, I think that pretty much catches me up for anime.
Yeah, I've just been catching up on Black Clover. Pretty much, that's about it. But I like it.
Interesting. What about video games? I know that there's probably a lot to talk about, especially Merrick. I know you've gotten a couple new additions.
Yes. Yeah, this is why I'm happy I found the time to watch Promised Neverland, because my life has been sucked into both Resident Evil 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. I kind of talked about it in the first episode, how those were the two things I was most excited for. And I am so happy with both of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, right now, not a slight at all towards Kingdom Hearts 3, but more so praise towards Resident Evil 2, because I didn't look a lot into it, but I was blown away with how much I enjoyed Resident Evil 2. I actually just finished it the other day. I've been taking my time playing through both games. I didn't want to rush through them. But yeah, Resident Evil 2 was killer. I mean, the atmosphere is awesome. The graphics are unreal. Like, I was talking to my sister about it the other day. She's playing through it right now too, and it's just the facial expressions, the way the faces are animated are just unreal. It's ridiculous. The game just has such a very tense, like, feeling the whole time. Like, you're just kind of ready for something to jump out at you.
Right, yeah, I even watched you play a little bit of the first few missions, and I, just watching, felt that. It's definitely got a little bit of a scare to it, as most Resident Evils do, to some degree.
Yeah, this one definitely returns to the early roots. Like, 4, 5, and 6 are... 4 still was scary, but 5 and 6 were definitely more action games than horror.
For sure, yeah.
So it was cool that the remake of 2 is just full-blown, like, back into horror, because there was one point where I... like about halfway through the game where I dropped my controller. Like, I'm not going to say I squealed or screamed, but I definitely audibly made a noise with my mouth. That was definitely a manly noise. And, but it's killer. I loved it. I finished it the other day, and yeah, right now I definitely give it like a solid 9. I just loved it. Yeah. And I mean, I've always said that the original Resident Evil 2 on like Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 was one of my favorite games of all time. I always say that when I rank my top 10 games. And so I was really happy with the way this one turned out. It was killer.
Cool. I'm glad that you liked it. I'll definitely at some point like to check it out then.
Yeah, you definitely should. Because, I mean, you could be not a fan of the series at all. And it just has very smooth gameplay. It's really easy. I know when we were growing up, like, horror games usually meant, like, clunky controls. Because that was another way for you to get scared. Like, something would happen, you'd be like, like, how do I get out of this situation? Because I'm going to have to do a 38-point turn to turn down this hallway. But it's a very fluid game, very easy to play. So you feel really rewarded when, headshot a zombie or something. But yeah, it's killer.
Good,
I'm
cool.
enjoying it.
And you mentioned Kingdom Hearts 3 as well.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. I
waited 20 years.
Yes, yeah. I'm really taking my time while playing this one. I think I'm 20 hours in right now, and I'm on the 4th world or so. Take my time to look at everything. I figure if I waited 15 years for this game, I should probably enjoy it. I didn't want to rush through it in one weekend. But it's killer. The story's pretty confusing, which
It's always been.
Yeah, they've always been confusing. But I mean, I think I've only missed like 2 or 3 of the games, like out of all of them. And even I made sure I read a ton of different articles, like watched some videos to catch me up. But it's killer. I love it. The combat's fun. The party system's awesome. Before you always had to get rid of either Donald or Goofy to fit someone in. Now you just have Donald, Goofy, and whoever else is in the world.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
it's really cool.
So I was like, sorry, Donald.
Yeah, I put Donald away a lot too.
I'm putting Cloud in, sorry.
Yeah, Goofy was always going to stick around. But it's pretty cool. The worlds are incredibly detailed. I'm not, like the biggest Disney fan, but I'm like just mind blown over all the little things, the way all the love and care they put into the designing of the worlds.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, bigger Disney fan. I've not yet gotten to check it out. and I definitely plan on getting it, and would love to even do a full episode on this at some point if we're all able to acquire it and get some playtime in.
Get it.
Yeah, it'd be sweet. I'd love for you guys to do it because there's just so much to it that we can talk about. It's a little too easy, I think. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty.
Really?
Yeah, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. I don't think I've died once yet.
Wow.
To whereas when I played through Kingdom Hearts 2...
2 was hard.
Yeah, Mason watched me do one fight 107 times.
It was Roxas versus Sword.
Yeah.
Roxas. And you,
Yep.
literally, I think 84 times.
Yeah, it was nuts. But it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I'm hoping there's plenty more to it. I don't know exactly how far I am into it. I've tried to avoid as much as I could. But I am loving it so far.
Awesome. Glad to hear good things coming from Kingdom Hearts 3. And now you guys wanted to talk a little bit about a game that I really don't know anything about, other than that it's kind of the next up-and-coming Battle Royale.
Apex Legends.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I love it a lot. Like, I was itching for a new game. Fortnite got so old. I think it wasn't... I haven't had fun Fortnite since the Meteor. You know how long ago that was?
Yeah, Fortnite just...
It just got out of control, I think.
The thing is... I mean, this should never be a slight towards the game, but people got too good. Like,
yeah, that was 100%.
I was playing against 12-year-olds that could like build skyscrapers.
You shoot at them once, Trump Towers just build right in front of you. Like,
yeah.
Oh my
Which I mean, shouldn't be a slight towards the game. But...
No, it's just we have to get good. But
yeah,
it's just so hard when you have like jobs and everything. Like, these kids are like literally just it's their job.
Oh, it's
Fortnite.
Nuts. You should. I mean, to this day, I today in class I had. Middle schoolers were like, all right, let's do our work. And they're like, oh, let's talk about Fortnite. Like, do you play Fortnite? Like, the whole time. That's
what's good about Apex is that when we first started Fortnite, not everyone was good.
Yeah, so we were really good.
So we were winning every other game.
Yeah.
But that's how it is with Apex. We actually have a shot. And what's cool about Apex is the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think there's 6 or 8 characters.
There's like
6 available and 2 that you can
2,
unlock.
Yeah.
Yep. And so there's characters... And each character has their own like little move set, so they all bring a different thing.
I main Pathfinder.
Yeah, so there's like Mason's character, the Pathfinder. There's one character where he can pretty much like plug into satellites, and he can find out where the next circle is going to be.
Yeah, and he like makes zip lines.
Yeah, and he can make zip lines.
So is this kind of like picking Overwatch characters to essentially go into a battle royale?
I would say it's more of a Rainbow Six Siege if you ever played that game.
Okay.
But it is like Overwatch. You need your supports. Like the robot Pathfinder is a support character. And there's also a life support character.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
I can't remember any of the names.
I know Bangalore and Pathfinder. That's about it. But and Wraith is
and Mirage is one.
Yep.
But it's fun. It's made by the people that made Titanfall.
And it's first person. I love first person shooters.
Really?
Yeah.
Now that's very intriguing to me.
Yeah, it's first person. It's got very good, fun gameplay. You don't take fall damage, so it's pretty fun.
My
like
God. I jumped
like
100 feet.
Jump off a cliff, or you start sliding, you fall down 80 feet.
It's amazing.
But it's fun. The guns are really limited right now. I think there's only 3 guns per weapon class.
Right.
Yeah,
well, you guys also said there's only like 8 characters currently.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of attachments.
Yeah,
so you can have like a sniper scope for different guns.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. It's fun. Yeah. You definitely just have to get the hang of what guns you have. Like it's color coded, which is really nice once you figure that out. But it's fun. It's definitely, like Mason said earlier, it's easy. I think I won my second game. Because right now
I won 2 out of my first 3.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. Because right now it's not a lot of the people that are like, good at, they're like, oh, free game. I'll play it. So if you were any good at battle royales whatsoever or first-person shooters, like right now you can crush on it.
Well, that's the thing, too. I've been killing people. Like, it checks your kills. It keeps track of your kills. And you can see who, like, kills you. And I've killed people with, like, literally, like, 500 kills. So, like, even these people have been playing, like, a while, I still am on their level a little bit.
That's what I'm liking. Since there's no building in it, the skill is strictly
strictly combat skill.
And communication, too.
Interesting.
And that's a cool thing about this game is that you don't need mics to communicate.
The pinging system is phenomenal in this game.
You can look at something and press R1 or top trigger on the right, and it'll say like, "Oh, supply crate over here," and like, "Oh, we should go over here," and like, "Enemy right there." So you don't. It's a cool system that you don't even need a mic to play.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah. That's very hard for a lot of different games to get down to.
So it's really like innovative.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited. I was trying to look up a stat real quick about it. I think it had I saw
72 million in
1 week.
1 week or something like that. Not even like a couple days, I think.
Well,
No,
may just have to join the statistic because
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued by it now.
It's
like I
fun.
said, I
And
didn't
they
really know anything.
They already said they're making a new map for it.
Interesting.
And I haven't even explored the whole map right there. Like, the one they have. It's like a cross between Avatar and Mad Max, I'd say.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Like the
Definitely
setting.
check it out. You'll enjoy
Pretty
it.
cool. Yeah, I'd definitely be about hopping online and going and playing a few rounds with you guys. All right. So that brings us to the end of video games. I only have one quick board game I wanted to talk about. I feel like 90% of the time, if we're talking about a board game, it's going to be me. But me and our buddies D'Angelo and Gumba finally won our first playthrough of a little game called Eldritch Horror. And I say little game sarcastically. Basically, this is a Cthulhu-themed, like, story-driven game. Everything you do is read to you in a narrative. But essentially what you're doing is some sort of Cthulhu Lovecraftian monster is trying to take over the world. And each of you and your friends picks a character, and these characters are all strong in different suits such as strength or will, lore, all these different things. And you're essentially going around this map, closing interdimensional portals and all this. But it's a little bit of like a horror-y type feel. So every round, like a different encounter happens, and someone reads to you some sort of like thing that happens to you. And sometimes it's good things, sometimes it's not so good things. But this game is hard, and it takes a long time, so losing feels really bad. But winning feels really, really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, I remember I played it with you guys like when D'Angelo first got it. This was probably close to 2 years ago now. It was a long time ago. But I just finished working like a 13-hour day. And I won't say I got bullied into playing, but I definitely got prodded enough to where I played it. And it was definitely really fun. I just remember my character ended up being transported to a different galaxy or something. And I had lost my mind. My character had literally gone insane. And then right after that, everything spiraled out of control and we lost. So I'm happy to hear you guys won.
Yeah, we won. It was cool. I really do enjoy this game. Definitely excited to check out more of the villains and different stories within the game. But one that definitely does not hit the table very often because of its long play time. That can be a little more difficult to learn as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eldritch Horror.
I enjoy any board game where it's you and your friends pitted up against the board game.
Yeah,
think
I
this role is
agree.
fun.
I tend to enjoy co-ops very much. And I think as our group goes, we've enjoyed co-ops.
Yeah.
Obviously, Legendary, Pandemic, a lot of those have been.
House on the Haunted Hill is another one that's kind of similar to that. Eventually turns into the players against one player, but those are fun games.
Mousetrap, remember that one?
Yeah,
Oh,
Mousetrap.
yeah.
Just
Monopoly.
as arguably even more complex than Eldritch Horror.
Dude,
Mousetrap,
Mousetrap is something else.
I still couldn't tell you what that game's like
It
actually
took like
about.
hours to set up.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the movie. When we were growing
There's a
up.
movie.
I don't know if it's based on the board game. It's a phenomenal movie. You guys should check
Is
it
it
out.
mice? Like the main
Yeah, there's a
characters?
mousetrap. It's these two guys. They run like a restaurant, and they move into this really old house, and there's a mouse, and they keep trying to trap it. It's hilarious. Have you guys not seen it?
This is a
It
fake-
has like Matthew Broderick's in it.
this is
It's a
fake-
great
this
movie.
is a
I
fake
promise
movie.
you.
It's a fake man. I don't believe
All
it.
right. Well, we're all gonna do a movie night soon, and you guys will get to check out Mousetrap.
Sounds like we're gonna play Mousetrap while watching Mousetrap. But now it's time to move into our main topic: top 10 anime characters. So what we're gonna do? We each have our list. And we're going to start from the end of the list, number 10, and move our way down. So, Mason, go ahead.
Alright, so my number 10, my list, it took me a good while, but it didn't really. I've grown with these characters, but I'd say Might Guy from Naruto.
What
That's
a
my
great
number
character.
10. He had to be on the 10. He slid down because of a couple other characters, but he's just hilarious. When I first watched Naruto, this guy coming in like, "Hey Lee, take off the weights," and he just had a bowl cut and just just evolves later on. Like you just think he's a joke until like you see him fight, and he's just a badass man.
Yeah, he's killer. That's a great character.
And he's a devoted sensei to his to Lee and all of his squad.
Yeah, arguably the best. Oh,
Not the best.
I
He's
don't
up
know.
there. He's up
He's-
there. He's devoted.
him and Azuma are probably the two best. But yeah, Mike Guy's a great character. That's a good one. My number 10, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I have Kazuma from Konosuba, which I encourage you guys to watch.
Is this the one where they put food in girls' mouths and the girls, pretty much?
No.
No, okay,
That's
that's
Food Wars.
That is Food Wars.
What is Food Wars' Japanese name?
Shokugeki no Soma.
I see Soma in that name and just
Konosuba, Shokugeki.
See,
Okay,
I always think. Okay, so it's not.
This is
sticking food.
So this is kind of like, think of reincarnated as a slime, but completely degenerate. Like instead of being like a level 100 overpowered, you get dropped into a world as like a level 1 plebeian.
Oh, so
that is the plot.
This is the anime where Aqua's useless.
Yeah, useless.
Okay.
Yuko's goddess, Aqua.
So who is this guy?
Phenomenal. Kazuma's the main character. He's the protagonist. He dies on the way coming home from buying a video game. He tries to, he thinks, save a girl from getting run over, but it was some guy on like a tractor that was going like 5 miles an hour. He doesn't even come close to hitting them, and he has like a heart attack and dies. And he's just a shut-in.
It's just a pathetic death.
Yeah, it's just pathetic, and he gets made fun of. But he's a hilarious character. This is, in my opinion, the funniest anime I've ever watched.
Interesting.
Yes, it is so funny. It just got dubbed. It just came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
And it's just the sub's performance is great. Like the voices and the sound effects he makes. And so I was excited to watch the dub. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet. I guess it just dropped on Crunchyroll. But I'm really excited. He's a hilarious character. He realizes that he's completely useless and that everyone around him is hopeless. And it is just so funny because his whole outlook is bleak. And is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum as most anime. Like, it's a pretty popular genre. Like, we talk about Reincarnated as a Slime. Sword Art Online is kind of like the same thing, where it's like real life transported into a fantasy world. Mm-hmm. So, like, picture that, but instead of you being like the super cool guy that you think you would be, you're just like your regular. Yeah, you're you. And he's hilarious. He's so funny.
It's pretty cool. You said that was Kazuma. What was the anime?
Kazuma again? From Konosuba is the short way to put it. The long one's like Konosubarashi Ao. Like, it's some long title. But yeah, Konosuba's the short version. Very good.
Definitely going to be checking that out. But my number 10 is Escanor the Lion Sin from Seven Deadly Sins.
Oh, man. Overpowered.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I think this guy is just super cool. He is the last sin that you discover within the show. And basically his ability is that he just absorbs power of the sun to the amount of strength that he needs. But he's also like a... Yeah. You haven't watched this season?
No, I haven't watched season 2 yet.
Yeah, so he's actually the strongest sin. Like, they say that. They're like, oh no, he's way stronger than...
that's awesome.
Meliodas. However, he's only strong when the sun's out.
When the sun's out, yeah.
So you actually meet him as like a very weak character.
He's very thin.
Yeah, but then, like, anytime the sun comes out, he literally just, like, gets huge muscles, and he carries this big axe, and he's a very devout character. Like, I just like his lines.
Dude, I just love his mustache.
Yeah, his mustache.
Profound.
I love a character with a good mustache.
Dude, it's good.
Yes, but he's always just very much like, oh, well, the sun's out now, so guess what? You guys are done.
Dude, he bodies people.
Yeah, he does.
Like Meliodas and these people literally struggle. Like a gang up on him and they struggle against this man, this commandment, and Escanor just bodies him.
Yeah. He really hasn't lost a fight yet.
I don't know why it's taking me so long to watch season 2. I loved season 1. We binged season 1. And I just haven't had the chance to watch season 2 yet.
I liked season 1 more than season 2. However, Escanor is definitely my favorite character from the show. He's just so cool.
I've heard his name a few times. I know he's popular. I just didn't know anything about him. He sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's my number 10, Escanor the Lion Sin from Seven Deadly Sins. Wow.
So we're going on number 9?
Number 9.
Alright, so my number 9 is Kuro Sensei from Assassination Classroom. So this is if you guys haven't seen it, it's the yellow tentacle man that's wearing like a graduation cap and gown. He's basically a teacher of all these like F students. Like, these are the worst of the high school students that are in there. And I kind of related to that in school. I was the worst, like grades-wise, attitude-wise. And he literally takes these kids like me, and he turns them and just like to like A students, and just takes all of their traits and just turns them into like the best students. And I kind of like wish that I had a teacher like Kuro Sensei, because I never had a teacher that like looked at me, and they always looked at me and like, oh man, that's a failure, I can't even help that. But Kuro Sensei looked at that and was like, I could make that kid into something else. And I just really related to that.
He's such a good character. I love Assassination Classroom. Funny story, when I had first decided, like, I'm not going to say Kuro Sensei made me want to become a teacher, but like when I had, like, being a teacher is something that I thought about for a long time. And when I had watched that anime, like, I felt like I connected with him so much. I was like, that is exactly why I want to be a teacher. The way he talks to the kids and all that. God, yeah. So many kids just need a role model, and he's I mean,
And the
he's a
whole
weird
premise of the
tentacle
show,
alien.
man, it's so
but-
cool. Like, this whole time you think he's just some evil man, like, evil, like, creature, but he just decides to teach this class. But in hindsight, he's like, he goes Mach 10. He's just, like, crazy speed and all this stuff. But towards the end, it just gets so sad because the kids just have to end up.
Not ashamed to say that this is one of, like,
That was,
three, I cried like a baby.
Dude, the scene where he's like, let's take roll. And I was like, no.
Great character,
No.
great character.
Yeah, so that's my number 9.
My number 9 is Kamina from Gurren Lagann. I'm sure he's going to pop up a few more times on this list that all three of us have because he's such a great character. I feel kind of bad putting him this low. I had a really hard time making my list of 10 characters. Koro Sensei was on it like 3 times. I've probably made my list 4 or 5 times. Even the list I had written down for the notes for the episode is different than my final list. But Kamina is just, he's great. Like Mason mentioned hype earlier, and I don't know if there's anyone that...
The definition of hype.
This man
Right,
oozes hype.
Hype.
Oozes hype, and just...
Let me see you grit those teeth.
That is like... That happens,
Just-
and I start flexing and
Dude,
stuff.
just
Like, I'm ready to
thinking about
go
it.
just punch something in the face, you know? Like, he's...
Just thinking about it.
Kamina's the man. He's got a cool look. You know, his killer design. He's really not only is he urging the characters on throughout the show, but he kind of like pulls you in. Like it's so easy to keep watching because of him.
And
Like,
the
you want to see
craziest
what
thing
he's
is,
gonna do.
he dies. Dude. Like,
Yeah,
episode
spoiler
1,
for
like...
those that don't watch.
They should have seen it.
Yeah. Seriously, actually, everyone
Yeah.
should have seen Gurren Lagann by now.
Jesus.
But yeah, the fact that they kill off the best character like 12 episodes in is I don't even know if it's that far in. It might be like episode 9.
I think it's like 5.
No,
I'm
it's
not
definitely
even-
further.
Is it?
further than
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'm
It's like
forgetting.
episode 9.
It's been
Yeah,
so
a good
long.
amount happens, but he's a great character, and oh man, just who the hell do you think I am? You know what I mean,
Shoot.
bro?
Yeah,
Bro. You
I'll
don't know,
definitely
bro.
speak more on that later
Oh,
because
yeah.
he makes it on all of our lists.
The only character, I think, that made
Yeah,
it
on the crossover, which isn't a bad thing.
No.
But yeah, number 9 for Merrick. Kamina.
It's pretty cool that he makes it on all three of our lists in all very different spots. Just kind of show you how good of a character he is.
Yep. My number 9 is Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail.
Urza.
Requip. Yeah. So there's a lot of great characters in Fairy Tail. I actually had trouble trying to figure out. I knew I wanted to fit at least one on my list, and the reason she was the one that made my list is because I like her fighting style, and I like how with her requip magic, all of her fights can usually tend to be a little different if she's not getting.
There's even
handed
a
to her.
struggle too. She always kind of struggles, but then she just ends it somehow.
She fairly
With
often
willpower.
loses too.
Yeah.
Not to say most of them don't lose within the first few episodes of an arc, but
Yeah. No, I love Fairy Tail. I almost put my number 10 as the guild. I love all the characters.
That would have been a cool twist.
Yeah, but Urza's
the strongest team.
Urza's
Fairy
definitely one
Tail's
of the best.
strongest team. Yeah, Urza is really cool. I like that. That's a good way to look at it. Is that she has all those different fighting styles. It does make her a fun character. Like when Natsu pops up, everyone loves Natsu, but you're like, all right, he's gonna breathe fire. You know, Gray pops up.
Fire punch.
Gray's gonna Gray's
Ice
right.
punch.
Fire Dragon
You
Roar.
can choreograph Natsu's moves from start to finish.
Yeah.
So
Right, yeah.
But yeah, Urza's really cool in the sense that you're not really ever sure what she's gonna do. So,
Yeah, and she's another one of those characters too with very strong morals.
Yeah.
Very much very strong about her feelings towards Fairy Tail and how much she'll defend the name of Fairy Tail. Not that they aren't all like that, but
Yeah.
I think you see that a lot more in the beginning of the show.
Yeah. She
Obviously,
seems like a monster.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my number 9, Urza Scarlet from Fairy Tail.
So that's all of our 9s. Moving on to number 8, the Ocho.
The Ocho. My Ocho is Roanoa Zoro from One Piece. Man, so I'm a big One Piece fan. I got into it mid-college, and it's just kind of like an adventure. But it started out Zoro was the first crewmate that Luffy meets and joins the crew, and just Zoro just was so badass. 3-sword style. It's never seen in any anime. I usually see swordsmen. They're always 1 or 2 swords, but no one has a sword in their
Sword
mouth.
stuff.
Yeah.
How is that practical? Zord,
Yeah.
no, you didn't even say in the anime. How is this practical? He's like, I make it practical.
Yeah,
Like,
he's definitely a cool character.
he's just badass. He's very loyal. I think the most loyal of the crew. He literally almost died for Luffy a couple times.
A couple times,
Yeah.
yeah. He was on different places on my list. Ultimately, he probably ended up at like my number 11.
Yeah.
He just got shoved out by other animes. But
Yeah,
he was the
understandable.
one from One Piece that I really considered putting in.
Yeah. He's voiced by Chris Sabat in the dub, and Chris Sabat does a great job. Just it kind of sounds like mid-tier All Might, like the low-tier All Might. That's the exact same voice, but
Yeah.
it just works.
Yeah.
And he just puts that bandana on and just get hyped. Just watching him fight.
Yeah, he is. That's a good
And
one.
he's just like Urza, where he struggles. Like he couldn't cut steel at some point, and then he faces some guy that's Dofur that literally is steel. So he literally was at the brink of death and like just awakened and just cut this man. And it's just cool at how he struggles and overcomes.
They do a very good job of, like, one of my favorite things as a character is when they show you why they're badass. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and it's not like, oh, I'm badass. You know, you shouldn't have to hear that.
No,
You
he
should-
puts in like the work.
You see it. You know what I mean? Even if he's not doing things, he just has that aura.
Yeah.
And yeah, Zoro's
Yeah.
definitely a character that would synonymous with.
He's also kind of cool because in almost any scene where he's not sleeping and they're not
Or
like
he's not lost.
actively fighting, he's almost always working out.
Yes.
Like
yeah,
he is
yeah.
constantly training in some sort of way, which is very cool.
Like elephant-sized dumbbells too,
Yeah.
ridiculous size.
On like the end of just a single bar too,
Or
like,
just holding it in his mouth because it's the
Yeah,
sword in the mouth. He's lifting. Imagine going to the gym.
You know,
and
I never
lifting
thought
with your
about
mouth.
that.
Yeah.
That is exactly
You have
why
to
he
work out
holds
your
the
jaw.
weights in the jaw. I've
Yep.
never thought about that. Huh. That's pretty cool. Zoro, a good character. My number 8 is one that I had trouble kind of justifying it, putting on my list, because within a year he's going to be super high on the list. But I have Mirio at number 8, which is pretty crazy because this is our top 10 anime characters, and he's only been in 2 episodes of the anime. If that, it's more like 1 episode in like
So it's
2 minutes.
So it's hard to read, and then you're like, should I put him on?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you
like,
know what's gonna happen.
yeah, and I've had no doubt saying that a year from now, if we do this on another episode, like 10 top 10 revisited, Mirio will be number 1. But we see even just a glimpse of it in the anime. The first time you see him, he pops up through the wall, and he's kind of like talking to Midoriya, like, "Oh, trash, right?" And it's just kind of like funny, and it was like enough, like it was weird enough where I was like intrigued. I was like, "Okay, what's going on here?" And then the next episode, he fights all of 1A, and he just
Marks them.
styles on all of them. He's like, "Yo, this is sick! Like, what's his quirk?" And then he starts breaking it down, and you realize like how much it would suck to have that quirk.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
then they say all the classmates are complaining like, "Oh, that's busted."
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone's like, "Oh my god, you have the strongest quirk."
but then he
And-
explains.
yeah, he stops. He's like, "That's not true."
yeah. And he says too, he's like, I struggled as I was young, like learning. Like if I went to use my quirk, I'd just fall through the floor.
Yeah, yeah, and so I mean, we see even when he's fighting, he complains about losing his clothes. Like he feels bad that he loses his clothes, which was hilarious. And then he talks about light doesn't pass through his retinas, or like oxygen can't pass through his body. And it was a character that really caught my attention. I was like, whoa, wait, this guy's really cool.
I remember that. I remember when Inasa, the wind guy, came. And
Yeah.
Merrick was like, "Oh, that's my favorite character." I'm like, "Just wait, I know you. And this guy is gonna be."
Yeah,
your favorite."
and so Mirio, right now I have it at number 8. It's not often that like I meet a character or something happens and I'm like, okay, I have to read ahead. If I care about the show, I usually refuse to read ahead because that feeling of watching things animated is so cool.
yeah,
but
we
I-
had that discussion.
Yeah.
You're like, "Mason, I like this character. Something was spoiled. Do I read?" I'm like, "Read."
Yeah, and so like I met Mirio and immediately I was like, I have to read. Like I need to know more about this character.
Yeah, this is another one of those characters where they definitely talk about how, training is a big thing. They put in a lot of work to get where they are. And also, this is probably one of the heroes and one of the quirks where they've spent the most time, even though it was really only a few minutes, talking about their limitations. There's a ton of heroes in 1A where we really don't know much more about their limitations than like, oh, I can only use it for so long. And, they do go into trying to work through those. But this one, they're like, oh, as you mentioned, I can't see when I'm in this quirk. I can't, hear this, that, and the other thing. So you really feel those limitations that he's been working through.
Yeah, exactly. He just gives off that vibe, he's, hard worker and he's so funny, like so nice and everything. Like he gives off those vibes. And he just, right off the bat, Like, you kind of get that feeling that he's, a major player or something. Because in the last episode of the season, Eraserhead says he's closer to being the number one hero than pro heroes. Like, he's the closest thing to taking over for All Might. Yeah, and so it's just killer. I love it.
Yeah. Merrick's number 8, Mirio Togata from My Hero Academia. My number 8, also from My Hero Academia, is Shoto Aizawa, or Eraserhead.
What a good character.
Yeah, this is just a cool character. He has a cool quirk.
Another sensei.
Yeah, another teacher, essentially.
Yeah.
And you kind of start out this anime as like, this guy's kind of a dick. Like,
yeah, he definitely gives off that vibe, yeah.
But, anyways... But then you find out, especially in the most recent arcs, that he's very devoted to his students and very supportive of them, even if it doesn't always show. Yeah,
and it's just the whole bandage thing's sick too. Has nothing to do with his quirk.
Well, because at the base value of his quirk, he stares at people and their quirks are useless. But if he never trained about anything to disable them, like that's all he could do. Like
and you kind of get a glimpse of how good he is hand to hand when Dobby pops up in the training arc when they're in the woods and stuff. He takes down Dobby with like martial arts and stuff.
Yeah, without even like trying to. Like Dobby thinks he has them, and he just blocks this and basically calls him an amateur in his face, and then goes off to.
I think my favorite thing about Aizawa is how much he like trusts his class too. Like when Miss Joke was like, "Oh, you didn't tell your kids about everyone's just gonna gang up on them." He's like, "I didn't bother telling them because they can handle it."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "Wow, that is so badass."
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Aizawa is everyone at some point, whether it be a teacher or role model, a coach, has had someone like that, like tough love. Yeah. They're really tough on you, but they care. And like they have all the faith in you in the world. And when you see like a little bit of a sign of affection, like, it just means the world.
Yeah. I think too, another one of my favorite scenes is the attack on the USJ. And Deku is like, "Oh no, you can't fight them alone. Your quirk's not suited for that." And he's just like, "Well, I wouldn't be a pro hero if that was the case." And he just massacres this group of villains. Yeah, and I think that was just really cool.
That's a good one. As always, a good character. Yeah.
Yeah. Number 8, Shoto Aizawa from My Hero Academia.
Lucky number 7 next.
See, we already talked about this character. This is why I put Kamina number 7, and I'm not gonna touch because you already pretty much. I'm gonna let Lake go on that when he's there. But I just want to say, I almost put Simone here. Like on this list,
I almost did the same thing, and
because,
I feel like
because how Kamina like had an impact on him and basically like shaped him. I had to put Kamina over him.
Yeah,
that was my exact reasoning as well.
Yeah, because Simone does he
gets really cool at the end.
Yeah, he is super cool towards the latter half of the show, and it is cool seeing the impact that he has on Simone. That's a good point to bring up.
So that's all I'll say about him. I put him here because hype and bro.
Hype and bro.
You don't know, bro.
Pretty much, yeah.
You don't know, bro. Oh, so true. I guess I don't know, bro. I had him at 9. You had him at 7.
Yeah, you don't know, bro.
I have enough respect for bro.
You guys don't even know.
Oh, man.
We don't know, bro.
I guess we don't know, bro.
Yeah. Excited to see where he lands on your list. But I guess that I'll transition to my number 7. My number 7 is Saitama from One Punch Man. I love this show. I think I mentioned earlier, funny actually that we talked about earlier, I hate rewatching things. I've probably seen the first season of One Punch Man like close to 6 times.
I think I've seen it 3. I think I've seen it about 3.
Yeah. I've watched it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Now
it's just cool to watch. It's just cool because I think anyone can not like anime. Like, they don't have to like anime. And they can just walk into you. Because this is what literally happened to me. I was watching it on my TV in the living room. My dad walks in. He's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's something called One Punch Man." And he sits down. And he's like, "Why do they call it this?" And like, he literally just murks the guy in one punch. He's like, "This sounds dumb." And he sat down and like watched like the first episode. He was like, "That's kind of cool."
Yeah, that was my whole point of the show. Our friend D'Angelo tried to get me to watch it. And I was like, "D'Angelo, why would I ever want to watch something where the character, I know he defeats everything in one punch? Like, where's the conflict?" Like, that's what I thought. And then I finally watched it and cried from laughing almost every episode. He's such a funny character. And like when he reveals why he can beat everything in one punch, he exercised Like that
literally
was it.
normal
1,000
exercise.
1,000 push-ups.
No, not even.
No?
He did 100
Yes.
push-ups.
Oh, right.
It's 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats,
And a 10K.
and a 10K.
Oh wow, so this is like attainable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's doable.
Oh, I can.
No, yeah,
let's go.
like, I'm sure you can look up. I'm sure people go out and they do this like every day.
I mean, it definitely wouldn't be easy, but you could definitely work towards it. And he's just hilarious. I love how he prioritizes like groceries. Like we see that in I think the 3rd or 4th episode when he fights the one villain. And he's like, we made a huge mistake. And he punches through the guy. He's like, we missed the sale. Like, it's just so funny and outrageous. And he's just...
Yeah, this is a show that I actually... we made a list of anime before. And I didn't put it on there. But I started reading it. And after reading these upcoming, like, couple seasons, I'm going to like it a lot.
Yeah, and One Punch Man Season 2 comes out
it's
in a
gonna be
couple
so
months.
good.
I'm very excited for this. Another character who I considered putting on my list, but just didn't quite make it.
Yes.
And... Yeah, he's great. I love both. I've watched it subbed and dubbed a bunch of times.
You want to hear a cool fact about this? Is that the creator of this, the story, he created the story, but he was so bad at drawing that he decided to draw it anyway, with the bad drawings and all. But people loved it so much that they were like, I'm still going to watch it. Because that's why...
Is that why it transitions between the dopey
do you
Saitama
see, like, when
and...
he's fighting Boros and just goes, okay, like that?
Yeah.
Or like when Tornado does that face, it's because he drew it like that. And
That is
this guy
That's
approached
very
him.
cool.
This guy approached him and was like, hey, I want to be like a mangaka, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at stories, and you are. I'll draw whatever you want.
That is
That's
so
pretty
fun.
cool.
That's how it started out.
Yeah, I love it. The sub's hilarious because he has okay, and the sub's just oh. Yeah, so he just, like, anything happens, just oh. Yeah, and that's just such a funny noise. And the dub's great. It's done by Max Middleman, who's one of my favorite voice actors. So it's just great character, subbed and dubbed.
Almost the one that made the list.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But yeah, my number 7 is Kirito from Sword Art Online. I should mention, this specifically points mostly to the newest season.
Oh.
I think he's just... I mean, I liked him before in other seasons of Sword Art, but basically the experiences and the scenario he's under in this one, he is just, like, so cool. And it's not a love story because he's there, like, basically with his bud, and it's him, like, mentoring his bud through all these scenarios.
Thank God.
I just think he's a really cool character in this
He's,
season.
I'd have to look it up, but I know... I'm a big Redditor, and so I look at Reddit all the time, but I know there was something that popped up this past year where Kirito's been, like, the most popular character across all animes in Japan for, like, the last 5 years.
Yeah, he's a very recognizable character, that's for sure. I just think it's cool, you know, it's just straight up sword fighting in this anime.
Yeah,
and especially in this season.
I definitely was so captivated with Sword Art the first, like, 2 episodes. I was like, this is such a cool concept, being trapped in a video game. It's so cool, but it just... I remember the first season, it devolved into, like, the love story, and I wasn't too interested in that. But I've heard, like, he's still badass. I finished that season, that final, like, sword fight with the boss. Mm-hmm. That was just so cool.
Yeah, you definitely could go into the 3rd season without having ever watched anything else and get something out of it.
Yeah, I actually just started the Gun Gale one. You ever seen the Gun Gale one?
I have, yeah. That's the 2nd season,
yeah,
basically.
I've watched that. I actually enjoyed that one.
Yeah, Gun Gale's pretty cool. Definitely very different from anything else that you'll see on both sides. Yeah. But Gun Gale was fun to watch.
But I actually might check out that 3rd season, so I don't need that. Really.
Definitely check it out.
I saw the Elf season. I definitely saw that.
Yeah,
so I've seen, like, the first 2
that's
seasons.
definitely, I think that's the most, like, off the rails it gets. From where you go, you'll watch Gun Gale, and then they basically have, like, a fun arc. It's literally, there's no, like, no life or death going on in this arc. It's just all them, like, enjoying playing this game.
That's cool.
But then it goes back, they do in the 3rd season, he's, like, trapped in this game, but he doesn't know why he's trapped in this game, and it's a longer length of time. Basically, they've said, like, this arc, or not arc, but story is going to be lasting a couple seasons. Wow. So it's a lot more slow going as well. But yeah, my number 7 is Kirito from Sword Art Online. And that brings us to our number 6.
Number 6. All right, my number 6 is from Noragami. His name is Yato. This is something I literally just picked up, like, I would say a month ago, which is pretty cool. It's like something that everyone talked about, and I was like, oh, I'll check it out. It has a cool opening. I never skip the opening, because that's a big thing to me. If I like the opening, I never skip it.
Oh, so it's a good one.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one. But I just like Yato. He's a god, basically. It's a lower tier god, and how this works is, like, he takes jobs for coins that people pray, and he'll do it for him. Like he does anything. If you're missing a cat, he'll go get it. It's a coin. But most of the time, everyone prays to like these bigger gods, like the god of knowledge, and they're all rich, and he wants to be like one of them, but he just is like, just taking these odd jobs. But the reason I like him is, so the way this works is he has what they call like a familiar, or I don't know the exact term that they're called, but it's someone in like the spiritual world that turns into like a weapon. So it's kind of like Soul Eater.
Right.
And he loses one of his weapons, quits on him in the first episode. She's like, I don't want to be with you anymore. You're like a lame god. So he finds this other kid who is a kid that died, and they don't know why he died or whatever. But he doesn't believe in himself, and like he just kind of like devolves into like a degenerate towards the end. And Yato really believes in him the entire time. Like really almost risks his life for him. And I just think he's just a very devoted guy, and they don't really show why in the beginning, but then you realize midway through the show, you're like, wow, he cares about people a lot.
Very cool. I have not checked this out, but
Yeah,
I am
I'd
intrigued by the
recommend it.
concept.
I've heard a lot of good things about it. I've almost watched it
The
few
battles
times.
in it are so cool. So cool. It's like seamless, like sword fighting, like no cuts. As you're just seeing, like kind of like Naruto, the Kakashi Obito. It's kind of like that every fight scene.
So it's cool you say that, because I thought Noragami was like a slice of life. Like, because literally all the... Which, I mean, I love slice of life, so I don't mean to slam it at all. But I mean, like, any picture I'd ever seen was him and then that girl, whatever girl it is. And it's always just, the exact same screen cap, like, every time. And so I've heard it was good. So I was like, oh, I'll watch it sometime.
No, it's definitely not a slice of life.
I'll have to check it out then. I like it. No,
So that's my number 6.
All right, my number 6. Also, it's funny you mentioned that your character was something that you recently watched. Mine is something I've recently watched too. Is Tanaka from Haikyuu. I watched it probably like a month and a half ago. I binged the first 3 seasons in like a week. I liked it way more than I thought I would.
This is the volleyball anime.
This is the volleyball anime, which I thought I would never watch.
I'm so timid to get into sports anime.
Dude, let me tell you, like, I was like, sports anime? Why would I want to watch sports anime when I can watch, sports? Like, I'd rather, if I'm spending time watching an anime, I'm going to watch, a story that I wouldn't get in a medium, So I was like, I'll never watch, Haikyuu, especially because it was volleyball, and I don't watch volleyball at all, nor have I ever really played it. But it was killer, and this character is my favorite reason why. Haikyuu does an amazing job. Anyone that played competitive anything, I think would love this show. Because even if you don't like volleyball, everyone looking back loves the idea of playing for a team. That brotherhood and everything. This show captures the feeling of brotherhood better than anything I've ever watched. And Tanaka's the reason why. He's like, everyone has had a teammate who was like, he might not be the best, but he's always fired up. Like, he gets you pumped up, and he's like, not the joke, but he's like the lighthearted, like, getting everyone like, oh, you could do this, like, we got this, like, we're gonna kick your ass, like, we're the best team. And he's so funny. Like, right from the beginning, it starts with him trying to be intimidating and all to the freshmen, and the upperclassmen are like, stop, like, you're not intimidating at all. And he has like this certain animation where it like tries to make him look tough, and he's just so funny and so tough. And a big part of the show is him and his relationship with another one of the players on the team. They're like best friends, and it's so fun. It gets you so hyped, and like, he's the kind of guy that would get you to run through a wall, like in sports, like football, lacrosse. Yeah, there's always been that teammate, that he's fun, like you enjoy hanging out with him, especially if he's an upperclassman, and he nails that role, and he's just easy to connect with.
That's cool. I think the closest thing I've watched with sport anime is Keijo, where the girls, fight with their butts, but I'm gonna have to check that out because I played football in high school, and it sounds pretty.
Dude, I'm telling you, like,
I've heard good things from this as
I'm
well.
telling you, I'm an intramural volleyball champion. Okay, but volleyball is something that I had never cared about, and even if you know nothing about volleyball, like, you get hyped, like, you hear the words one touch, and you start sitting up, like, you start sweating a little bit, like, it's sick. It's a good show. It's killer.
And the opening is good, I've heard.
Yeah.
Fly high,
oh man. Yeah, the season 2 opening is one of my favorite openings of all time.
That's a proponent of the rating system.
Exactly. I definitely didn't skip it once. So that's good. That's my number 6, Tanaka from Haikyuu.
Alright, my number 6, a character that we're all pretty familiar with now, Rimuru Tempest. And I won't go on this too much longer because we did just talk about it in the last episode. But I just like this character. I like that he's a guy that just kind of wants to do the right thing. And he's very overpowered in his anime, but it's not something that he necessarily flaunts.
Dude, did you just assume the slime's gender? Like, how dare you?
Okay, well, he was a dude before he died. I understand that he is currently asexual, and they cover that very well.
They do, actually.
Do they really?
But they do still call him Sir and, like...
Sir, Lord,
like
all of this.
So they definitely still see him as a guy.
Yeah, and I think he does, too.
Yeah,
Obviously, he still has attractions to females as well.
Boobies and all kinds of things, yeah.
But, yeah, just a cool character. I like the way he develops these different abilities. Obviously, with the great sage in his head.
Just a predator. That's predator skill. Imagine him swallowing one Saitama. The ultimate being.
Yeah. One slime man.
One slime man.
One drip man.
One punch slime.
One punch
Skill
slime.
acquired. One punch.
Yeah.
Oh, let's try this. But yeah, I just like his story, I like the anime, and I like where it's going. I'm excited to see more from it.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Yep, that's my number 6, Rimuru Tempest from Reincarnated as a Slime.
Oh man, the top 5 are getting in the nitty gritty.
Yeah, this is the top 5.
Yeah.
This is probably I'm going to imagine, it was incredibly difficult for me. I'm sure it was really hard for you.
This was so hard because I had to go through, like... okay, so how I ranked it is like, why does this anime mean anything, and why does this character mean anything? So it was 2 things. So the anime I liked, it meant something, and the characters. So I had like double standards for it. And my number 5 is Ryuko Matoi from Kill la Kill.
Dude, don't lose your way, man.
Dude, don't lose your way. See, I saw this anime, I'd say my junior year in college, and I didn't know what to expect from it. I remember I watched Toonami in 2014. That's when it first premiered. And it was, like, all over the screen, just... If you see these transformations, they're just...
You wouldn't want your parents walking in while you're
exactly.
watching.
I was watching Toonami and I had to turn it off. I'm like, this looks cool, but I'm turning this off because at any moment my parents could come and see me watching this. But then I eventually watched it, and I would say this is probably the most hyped I've ever been for an anime.
You did say hype was important.
And this is so important. And I just think... So, a lot of these, in my top 5, they're very degenerate people... Like, they're very delinquents and, like...
people you relate to.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that. And she comes into a new school and just is causing all sorts of trouble and just gets these really cool powers with, like, clothing. I know it sounds weird, but she gets this Kamui and has these giant pairs of scissors. And the battle scenes are just unparalleled, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have not finished this, but I have watched a couple episodes with you of it. Really, the fan service is just a little much for me.
Yeah, that's the main thing everyone says, and I totally get it. Like, this is over the top. This is the whole reasoning of the show and creating it. The creator said that this is literally like a parody of why anime is so fan service. So he decided, I'm just gonna make a anime where fan service is the plot.
Yeah.
She's a good character. I've watched the whole thing.
She goes through just this crazy character arc, man. Like,
yeah, her personal story is pretty cool.
Yeah,
she's a good character. I like her, and she's got the best hype.
Yeah,
hype man in
the music,
anime history. No, Mako Mancho.
Oh, Mako Mancho, her hype man.
Yeah, her hype man, the best hype man in anime history.
Really is.
Yeah, but yeah, that's a Ryuko Matoi. That's a good one.
Yeah, I definitely do enjoy the character herself, and the action in the show is very cool, I must admit.
Oh, yeah.
Voice actor for Ryuko Matoi is in the dub of Konosuba.
Really?
Yep.
Eric Mendez. That's who it is.
Yep.
They did a phenomenal job on the voice acting, dub-wise and sub-wise in Kill la Kill. I've seen both.
Yeah, the dub is very good for Kill la Kill.
But yeah, so I have her there. I just think her moves are pretty cool, and I kind of relate to like being like the outsider in the school and just kind of being like that ruffian, delinquent. But I just like the story arc. So yeah, Ryuko Matoi, number 5.
My number 5, and this is a character I'm a little bummed because both Mason and Lake have started this show, but they started the wrong season.
Oh my
god! So they
gosh.
haven't seen the true
I didn't even realize
version of the character. Yep, my number 5 is Okabe Rintaro, aka Hoenn Kiyoma. He's the mad scientist in Steins Gate, and Lake and Mason both started Steins Gate 0, which is it's good. There's no way for me to explain Steins Gate 0 relation to Steins Gate.
I was so confused. I was so confused.
See, it doesn't help, too, that the first couple episodes of Steins Gate's confusing, too. But, like, I can confidently say, like, I mentioned to Lake that might have ruined the show earlier, but the whole Steins Gate 0 happens in an alternate universe, pretty much an alternate timeline, so you can still watch Steins Gate in, like, it wouldn't matter at all because you didn't spoil anything.
Yeah, I was so bummed that I watched the wrong season. I'm just waiting for it all to flood out of my head just to get into it.
But he's one of my favorite characters. He's great. He's hilarious. He's literally, like, he's the biggest caricature of what a mad scientist is. He's so funny. I'm a huge fan of time travel stuff. Like, I'm a big fan of Doctor Who. Like, that whole mad scientist vibe is always really funny. But Okabe Rintaro is a great character. He seems like just some crazy dude that you should never trust. But you see throughout the course of Steins Gate that he cares so much about each one of his friends. And it's nuts. You feel so bad for him. Like, you see the man break, which you do not see a lot in anime. Like, if you think or see anyone, like, if you think about, like, watching them, like, act break and just lose everything, like, completely lose their mind, like, it's such a sad thing to think about. And so to see him go through that and then watch his arc, like, how he gets out of it, it's unreal. Okabe Rintaro is hilarious.
He definitely acts very different in the second season. Because I remember I watched the second season like, halfway through. And he's very, like, calm and collected, kind of. He's still kind of sketchy here and there about things. But then I went back and watched like the first episode. He's like, this guy's a loon. Like, why is he such really a loon in like the first season?
Yeah. And so that's why I told you guys that it was confused when you both were like, oh, I don't know anything going on. Because the first 2 episodes of the original Steins Gate, you really have no clue what's going on. And then like episode 12 happens, and you're like, oh my god, this show is like a 10 out of 10. Like, this is unreal. Like, everything falls into place. And you get hooked.
Yeah, I did. I made it about halfway through season 2 before realizing it. But I did restart. I think I'm about 3 episodes into season 1, and I am enjoying it. It definitely does fill some holes into things that were happening.
Yeah. He's a great character. He's just hilarious. I can confidently say a lot of the characters, kind of fit into a type. Like all made from a certain mold. I don't know if I've seen a character quite like Okabe Rintaro, and that's why he's my number 5. He's crazy, but he cares.
Yeah. My number 5 is Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. Full Metal Alchemist.
See, I love Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I love it. And I couldn't figure out a character that I really could put on this. Because Envy was my favorite.
Envy's cool.
And I'm like, I can't put Envy on this list. But that's cool you have. What was it? Is it Alphonse or Edward?
I put Edward.
So you get bad.
Yeah, I think he's a better character. Obviously, Alphonse is the younger brother. I just don't think that... As for what you're looking for a character, he doesn't quite have those devotions and whatnot. But that's because he is a younger character. Not to say that he's bad by any means. I do like him as well.
Dude, like so much emotion comes out of Ed to that entire show. You see everything. You see him angry. You see him sad. You see him happy. It's just pretty cool.
Another reason I feel like all of us can connect with him too is we're all big brothers.
Yeah. That is so true.
They do such a good job, like.
Because think of your younger sibling in, like, Alphonse's position, like, losing his body. You would do anything. You'd move hell on earth. And that's what Ed does, like, literally.
Yeah, really.
He's a killer character.
To get Alphonse's body back.
But yeah, I think just a cool character. Obviously, a lot of cool convictions, which is reoccurring for me. I like those strong characters.
Yeah.
But he's fun to watch, and his anime is fun to watch, too.
Yeah, Oh, man, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I really wanted to put Roy Mustang was another one that almost made my top 10.
Mine as well.
Yeah, he's a killer character. But Ed's a great one. He's
not Barry the Chopper, dude. What?
Yeah, no. But I mean, shoot, even just from the beginning when you see him, use his arm for alchemy, how he like makes the blade out of his metal arm.
Yeah. God, there's so many characters in Full Metal. Like, I was just thinking about it right now. I'm like, man, Greed could have made my list.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, this was
Greed
so hard.
could have easily made my list looking back on it.
That's always my go-to definitive. Like, someone asks me, what's the best anime? I say Full Metal.
That's like everyone. Everyone I've ever talked to, I'm like, make a top 5 list. And Full Metal Brotherhood is either like 1 or in there.
Yeah.
Like,
and a lot of the big reasons behind it is the main character, Edward Elric. Such a great character.
Yeah, well, I think, as we just discussed, a lot of characters, both good and bad in this show, are just really memorable and really cool characters.
And Full Metal Alchemist is made by a woman, so women make some good-ass animes. That's all I gotta say.
They know how to tell a story. Emotion.
There's a couple others. I'm just like, I did not know. I know the Suna with the fire on the head. That was an anime that was made by a woman.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a couple of them. I saw it today.
Very cool. But yeah, my number 5... Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Thank you.
Of course. So, numero cuatro.
Number 4.
Okay, so this is a weird character to be in my top 5. And this is strictly because when I was growing up, I don't know if you guys have Dragon Ball Z on your list. I just knew it was like one of the first things that everyone watches, but it's one of the first things I watched. And I never really like loved any character for some reason. Like Goku I thought was cool, Vegeta's so cool. But I have number 4 is Android 17.
Wow, he's your number 4.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, because I just thought when this character came up in the androids, I'm like, this is so cool. Like, he looks so cool. Like, Bandai looks like a regular dude, and he just completely destroys the Z Fighters after they just defeated Frieza, and you think they're just so powerful.
That's true.
And I just think that he was so cool growing up. I don't know. I really don't have, like, a really good reasoning for this. I'm just like, I just remember Android 17 is one of my favorite anime characters. And Dragon Ball Super, I'm so glad they brought him back. They brought him back later on. And they definitely did him justice. It was the first time you see him, literally, since, like, Z.
Park Ranger.
Yeah. He's still a park ranger, yeah.
Look at that. I love consistent storytelling.
That's it.
So,
but he goes to the Tournament of Power, and he kicks ass, and I'm just glad. I'm not going to spoil anything, because obviously not a lot of people have seen the Super, the ending yet, because it's still being dubbed. But, like I said, pretty much nostalgia. But the voice, I love the voice actor, too. You'll see in one of my other top 3, they share the same voice actor. I don't know if there's any correlation, but I just love the voice of that person.
Yeah.
Chucky Beaver.
The personality, the attitude.
Yeah. It's like, I just think he has a cool voice, Android 17. Cool powers, unlimited energy fields.
Yeah, can't.
The tandem of him and 18 fighting, it was just so cool. The Piccolo 17 fight is probably my favorite fight, though.
Yeah, I think that's a very underrated fight. That's one of my favorite fights.
Because it's the last fight that Piccolo is like really relevant. Like,
yeah.
And Piccolo is another one of my favorite characters. So that fight just went on, and it was just so cool.
Very cool, and definitely good, like, different character.
Yeah.
Especially to make it so
That
high
is a good
on the
out
list.
of the box character for high on the list. That is a good one. So, my number 4, and I think he pops up on someone else's list too. I haven't checked.
Yes,
but
he
mine
does.
is,
He makes it into my list as
yeah,
well.
so I won't talk about him a whole lot, but Izuku Midoriya is my number 4. Yeah, dude, I love him. I think he's a great character, which is funny because so many people can't stand him, but all the people that hate him, I'm pretty sure, were just bullies in high school.
Yeah,
that would pick on kids like
was a
Izuku
bully.
Midoriya. Yeah, but I love, especially with shonens, like so many main characters are very similar. Like they're happy-go-lucky, they eat a lot, and they beat people up.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I think I just described like Goku, Luffy, and Naruto are very like
Very true.
Yeah, pretty much.
happy-go-lucky, beat people up, they eat, and they care about their friends.
Yep.
And Midoriya's, I mean, he's, he cries a lot. But I think it's cool because I think it's like a realistic portrayal of someone that age. Like, we don't get that a whole lot. Usually, like, people in anime are 14 years old and they're already acting like they're 30. Midoriya's a teenager.
Who's
a young teenager, yeah. And I just think he's a great character. I love the way his story is being told. And I love so much about the character. I think it's great. I won't talk too much more about it since we're going to talk about it later.
He's definitely growing on me. It's been taking a while, but going through like reading and like knowing what's gonna happen, I'm just like, okay, well, it's gonna be cool at some point.
Even looking back, like rewatching the show, it like made me appreciate the character even more.
He's definitely
for sure.
He works hard. If you look at him, episode 1, he's very skinny, and like to now, he's like kind of like
He's
stocky.
yoked, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny. I think he grows a lot. He grows a lot more in the first 60 episodes than I think Naruto does in the first like 200. It takes Naruto like 400 episodes to get like
good.
Yeah, like
get good, son.
Yeah, but no, he's a good character.
He's a good character.
Excited to see him progress more.
Still a nerd.
Yep.
Still a nerd. Yes.
Merrick's number 4, Izuku Midoriya. My number 4 is Captain Levi from Attack on Titan.
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean, who doesn't just love to watch this dude slash and dice Titans?
Not only that, remember when you just kicked Aaron's face in
Yeah.
on the trial? Oh my god.
Just
repeatedly.
Yeah, definitely a character in the last season that got a lot of focus. You really find out about his backstory and even his relation to Mikasa, the other character from Attack on Titan that I had considered adding to this. But Levi's just cool, man. Like, he's introduced to the show in that first season, and he steals it. Like, he's just fun to watch.
Well,
like,
his skill is like so apparent when you first meet him. Like, he just literally has these moves that no one else can do. He looks like a tire,
like
going
a Beyblade.
through. Yeah,
He like rips down like a
in the air.
Beyblade.
But I definitely agree with you. This new season, who is the cowboy guy? I forget his name. It's been a while since I watched it.
I don't remember.
It's
something Ackerman.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Ackerman guy. He that whole backstory with him, and towards the end, he's the big bad as of right now of that season.
Yeah,
later
he really
on.
is.
But just the interaction, even towards the end, I'm just wow, that's a good interaction and good thing that they built throughout that entire season, and it really added depth to Levi. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a lot of character development. But really, too, especially where we're at, because in the first season of Attack on Titan, he has the Levi squad, and, it's all people very much like him, super good skills. But most of them have passed away.
Yeah, they get destroyed.
Yeah. And really, other than Mikasa, I don't think that there's anyone else in the show right now whose skills, are even parallel to those of the Levi squad.
Line,
yeah,
they're called.
Which makes him even more cool to watch. And two, he's a smart fighter too. They make that very apparent, especially in the scene where they're surrounding him in the bar, and he throws the chair out one side, and then comes through and shoots his OEM gear through the guy.
Yeah, that was definitely a big game changer too that season when they added pressure guns or whatever they had compared to swords, and they had to somehow fight with it. It was just a cool thing that Levi had to adapt, and he made his squad adapt as well.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier how Zoro kind of oozed, that cool factor.
I
think
Levi
for sure.
Yeah, he just...
This is the face. It always has
those
those eyes.
Yeah,
He's very serious.
Don't
character.
mess with me. Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, my number 4, Captain Levi from Attack on Titan.
Top 3.
Here it is.
Here we
All
go.
right, my number 3. I know I said Dragon Ball Z was probably one of the first I ever watched, but I think the second one I ever watched, it came on, I think, either before or after Dragon Ball Z and Toonami. It was Yu Yu Hakusho. And number 3 is Hiei, the little three-eyed demon boy. I always, it was another thing Android 17, they should have seen voice actor. I always thought that he had a cool voice, and just the powers, though. He was just super fast, had, the coolest dark power, Dragon of the Darkness Flame, just... He was gonna murk anyone in one hit. It was once you saw that darkness flame, it was over.
Yeah,
and it was just he's a really cool guy. He is one of the stereotypes of shonen where he's the former villain that joins the group. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Vegeta, where anything they do, he's leave me out of this friendship stuff. I'm only here because there's a debt or anything like that. But then, towards the end of the series, you see him actually care about these people in his own little way.
Yeah,
and I think Hiei loses maybe once, if that. I think Hiei literally goes undefeated throughout that entire series.
I was gonna say he loses to Yusuke at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah, so that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So the main character beats this man, and he doesn't take an L after that. He literally went undefeated in the Dark Tournament.
Yeah, he's a great character. All the characters in Yu Yu Hakusho are awesome. I really wanted to put one in my top 10. They just barely edged out. I was pretty close to adding Yusuke. He is just a great character though. He's just so cool, especially that age that we were when we were watching. That
my God,
we were very impressionable age, and he
had the sword, the bandages.
When you're a little kid, all you want to do is be cool.
Yeah,
and he just has a cool design. He looks cool. He has a sword.
He was just cool.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good one.
But yeah, he is my number 3.
That's a good one. My number 3 is... I have the other Elric brother. I have Alphonse Elric.
Definitely explain this to me.
Yeah.
I want to hear why you like him.
I knew I was going to put one of the two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And Ed, I felt like I related to a lot because of the big brother and all that. The only reason I think I put Alphonse over Ed is Edward... we know he cares and all that, but he has such a short temper. I know, short pun. But yeah, he gets really agitated a lot in the show, which usually in animes that gets on my nerves. I didn't mind it with Ed a whole lot, but Bakugo, for example, he's always yelling, short-tempered. I couldn't stand Bakugo the first 2.5 seasons. I hated him, and I definitely don't hate Ed, but Alphonse is very... I guess the way I would put it is Alphonse is exactly what I would want. When I have kids, I would want my kids to be just like Alphonse. Throughout the whole show, he's very nice. He's so caring. He's literally always looking out for others before himself. Pretty much the whole point behind Alphonse is he knows that he doesn't have a body, so he doesn't mind risking himself to help others. And I think he's just very selfless.
It's very true.
And yeah, it's just a very, very cool opposite to Ed.
I felt so bad for Alphonse that entire show.
That's what I'm saying.
He can't sleep. I feel how bad that is. You have to wait 8 hours for the only person you really talk to wake up and talk to you. You're just sitting there in your thoughts.
And when everyone's eating, you just got to sit there. People are like, well, why aren't you eating? You're like, well, I can't.
Yeah, that little monologue, those two little monologues, the one where he talks about sleep, like, that's super sad. That's something we take for granted. And then when he, like, is, like, crying, talking about he can't wait till he gets a body back so he can eat the Grandma Rockbell's stew.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many little things. I think he's a very human character. Like, Alphonse did a really good job of channeling, like, funneling emotions through. Like, he's easy to connect with in that sense.
Yeah.
And,
I definitely agree.
yeah, so while Ed was very, like, I'm going to look out for my brother, I need to get him, like, fixed and all that, like, Al was clearly, like, targeted for that too, but he was constantly looking out for everyone else over himself, and I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. Very good reasons, too. Your number 3, Alphonse Elric from Full Metal Brotherhood. Or Full Metal Alchemist, whatever.
Brotherhood.
My number 3, you actually just mentioned Bakugo from My Hero Academia.
So close to making
he was so close to making mine, too, which goes to show how good of a character he is.
Yeah, especially, too, with his recent developments in the last season. But, I mean, he's cool. You know, he comes into the school. He already knows how to use his quirk. As mean and as much of a bully as he is, like, he really has thought things through. You know, he talks about why he designed his outfit at the beginning and the different functionalities of that. But he's cool to watch fight, too. He's another one of those high-action, flying through the air type of characters.
Well, it's not just that, like, he was, like, the guy in middle school, I guess, if it's, like, that kind of thing. Like, he knew what he's, like you said, his quirk was, and he almost has to, like, catch up to everyone now, because he thought he was at his peak, but you can just see he works hard, he's dedicated, and he sees how, like, Izuku is doing, and he just needs to push past it, and he knows about Izuku's secret, so he wants to, like, just beat that with pure, like, willpower.
Yeah. It's cool. The way I look at it with Bakugo's character, you know, I just mentioned, you know, short temper and all that, how much that drives me nuts, but like I said, I almost put him on my top 10, and that just goes to show his character progression. His character arc through the first 3 seasons was phenomenal. It was killer, because, you know, it just started, you know, all right, he's short-tempered, kind of, like, bullies Deku. Second season, you know, he, like, goes kind of nuts during the sports festival, and then you're like, oh, this is a shonen, Bakugo's going to become a villain, and then he gets kidnapped third season, and the first thing he says is, you think I'm going to, you know, join you guys, like, I'm going to be a better hero than All Might. You know, like, that's his hero. Mm-hmm. And you realize everything he does is just him trying to be just like All Might. Like, he wants to be the number 1 hero. And then when the Midoriya-Bakugo fight happens, and he talks about all the guilt he has, like, he has so much character development, and such a deep character.
I also love in the manga that he drops F-bombs all the time. That's, like, one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I think that's, like, fan translations mostly, but yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but no, he's hilarious.
It's very interesting. I didn't know that. I could definitely see that, like, spicing up his character, though, and making him even cooler.
Yeah, it's pretty funny when it happens. Because usually the way it works is, like, official translations drop on, like, Sunday or Monday, but the manga always comes out on Thursday or Friday. Mm-hmm. So it's, like, usually they're, like, translated by, like, they're really good translators, but they're kind of technically, like, fan translators. It's not the official translation. Usually they'll have, like, F-bombs here and there, and it's always really funny for his character.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a good one.
But yeah, my number 3, Bakugo from My Hero Academia.
Top 2. Number 2.
Number 2, this is another one back-to-back. Yu Hakusho character. I have Yusuke Urameshi. Like I said, this is an anime that like I said, it's an early one I've watched, but it has a lot of impact on me. I literally binged this later on. And Yusuke was definitely me in different, like, school settings. Was just, like, did not care about school. I just want to, you know, go home and, you know, just kind of like a delinquent, just wants to do whatever he wants, and everyone gets in his way, but it's just, I love his character arc, too. It's like, he starts out with him saving this boy that is in the middle of this road with a soccer ball, and he goes to push him out of the way, and he gets hit by a car, and he dies. Come to find out, the Grim Reaper Botan is just like, oh, even if you had not done anything, that kid wouldn't have died. The car would have just swerved out of the way.
That's right. I did watch the first episode of this.
So it's just funny that it just shows that he really cares, even though he just says he doesn't care, and just stuff like that. And I just love, like, his powers. Like, the spirit gun was so cool. Like, he had to, like, you know, save his shots, and he later developed some more shots in, like, 3, or he had, like, shotgun. and just different things like that. But I love his fighting style. No one threw hands like Yusuke.
Yeah.
If you go back, it's just punch for punch, nothing else. Like kicks, all in mom jeans too. He made mom jeans look cool.
Yeah.
He legit wore 80s mom jeans
Yeah.
and like white Adidas's, and I just love Yusuke. Throughout each tournament, I think it was like the Dark Tournament, and then there was the Demon World Tournament. He obviously gets like some demon buff later on, but it was still pretty cool. And he just was one of my favorite characters through and through. I just really like him as a character. And
Yeah, he's a good one. One of the big things for me when I watch a show is how relatable is the main character. I talked about that for Midoriya. Like, I don't find Naruto or Goku the most relatable at first. Naruto, later on, like in Shippuden, is very relatable, and it's really cool how much character progression he has. Or even Luffy, I don't really find too relatable at first. But Yusuke, I feel like, is such a good portrayal of a main character. He's pretty relatable. We all knew a guy like Yusuke.
oh, we all knew.
None of us knew a guy like Goku.
No.
Everyone knew a guy like Yusuke.
Yes. He
He's
would
really
throw
cool.
hands for his friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just going to say. He was a delinquent, but he cares about his friends. Like, that's the whole theme behind the show, pretty much, is how much he cares for everyone else.
He says he doesn't, but
yeah,
he definitely
exactly. And so, that's a good one. I like Yusuke.
Yeah.
My number 2 is someone that's kind of only... He's there for a good chunk, but Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z.
This is a cool inclusion.
Yeah.
cool.
He, right from the beginning, I knew I was going to like him as one of my favorite characters. Like, I watched Dragon Ball Z religiously when I was a kid. To the point where I'd wear out the VHSs of, like, the ones that, like, my grandparents had recorded for me so I could watch. But I remember, you finish the Frieza saga finally, and that felt like forever when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And then the first thing you see is just some random dude with a sword. When you're a kid, swords are the coolest thing in the
It
world.
honestly is.
Especially in an anime where that wasn't really ever prevalent again.
Exactly. He pops up, goes Super Saiyan against Frieza, who took Goku, like, 100 episodes to beat. Not actually 100, but it took Goku forever, and he beats Frieza in, like, a minute.
Filet mignon.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, just dices him into pieces. And right from the start, I was hooked. Like, you talk about how you thought Yusuke was cool. Little Merrick thought Trunks was the coolest guy in the world. And I remember I was just like, oh, man, I want to be just like him. Like, Little Merrick wanted a haircut like him, but I had curly hair, so you can't really do a bowl cut.
You wanted the bowl cut.
I wanted the bowl. He made the bowl cut look cool. Like, you talk about mom jeans looking cool. Like, Future Trunks with the bowl cut was sick. And then he'd go Super Saiyan and his hair was, like, split up the sides. Yeah, I thought Future Trunks was a really cool character. I loved his character story. I love the Dragon Ball Z movie, The Story of Trunks. It's one of my favorite Dragon Ball Z movies. That's really cool, where you see Trunks' Future Trunks' timeline. Yeah, exactly. He's a character that goes through a lot, tries to fix another timeline, and, he tries his best.
Comes back in Super.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was sick.
And
Wasn't
his arc
expecting that.
his arc in Super is pretty good. It's honestly a really good arc.
Yeah, it's cool that they gave him the moment to shine. At the end.
I did not understand why they gave him blue hair.
No, I didn't either. I don't think a lot of people did.
I think the reasoning they said behind it was the original intent of Akira Toriyama was for him to have blue hair like Bulma.
Like Bulma, which makes sense.
Right.
When Dragon Ball Z was made, the translation didn't go over,
Yeah.
I guess, and they just made his hair like
Purple.
purplish. But
Which
why?
is funny 'cause
Why
Kid
is
Trunks'
young
hair
Trunks'
is
hair
purple.
purple as well? So it's just
Yeah.
like maybe he grows into the blue hair.
Yeah, but
I don't know. but
Future
I don't
Trunks
know
is
either.
still looked cool.
one of my favorite characters. I think he has some of the coolest moves in Dragon Ball Z, like Burning
Dude.
Attack, Burning Slash.
In Super,
sick.
he has like a spirit bomb sword,
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
he definitely gets his like sauce of attacks.
Yep.
Like,
So Future Trunks, Little Merrick.
dude,
Love
Burning
them.
Attack was so cool. The multiple.
That's what I'm
hand
saying. Like the quick
movements,
hand motion, like Burning Attack. Future Trunks is the man. That's my number 2.
All right. My number 2, we touched on a little bit, Izuku Midoriya from My Hero Academia. Lots of My Hero on my list, but this is the last one. Best for last, or at least we would argue.
If you had someone above Bakugo, Midoriya, I guess All Might would have been a justifiable one.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the only other one that didn't make any of our lists.
Which is
but
crazy.
That's okay.
I love All Might.
I love All
All
Might
Might
too,
too.
but just my reasoning was like I love My Hero Academia. Just it hasn't been around long enough to wipe out these animes that I've grown up with and like watched. But like they could have made the list because like I said, Noragami was on there. But I really liked Noragami as like an anime because like it was short and like it ended. But like My Hero, it's good. It's keep going. But eventually, there's gonna be My Hero characters on my list.
Yeah, for sure. But I just love his character. Obviously, he starts out a crybaby. Still a little bit of a crybaby, but even his character development
He's
from
getting
season
better.
1 to season 3 is like... a huge step up from where he started. And I'm just really excited because obviously we know, like, this anime ends with him being the greatest hero. So this is a character that we're really going to get to watch, like, fully grow up. I mentioned before, kind of another Naruto development type story.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like how he doesn't get injured anymore. Thank God. He's actually getting, like, molding into his quirk all for one for all.
One for all.
Yeah.
Yes, I always get them confused.
I was just thinking too, like, everyone talks about him being a crybaby, but he's crying because he's, like, literally shattering his arm. Like, I stubbed my toe and I have a couple tears. And, like...
Well, that's not the only
No, it's not the only reason. But, I mean, if
good.
you think about, like, all the reasons he cries, like, his best friend getting kidnapped. If some portal guy reached through and grabbed you or Lake right now, I'd probably...
What's not just that, I just remember the sight of All Might was making him cry in the beginning, which he's gotten better at. Like I said, he's getting better at that. But, like, he definitely is getting better. I'm liking him, but I just remember the beginning. I'm like, why is this kid crying?
No, he's awesome.
No,
I think it's one of those things, too, where as he starts to fill those steps of being a hero, he's going to cry less and less. Because he's eventually going to be...
He's a hardened man now. He's seeing, like, what? All Might diminish his quirk now.
Yeah. He beat Muscular. Like, that was a huge moment for... Like, after that, I don't know if he cries again after. Oh yeah, he does when All Might loses his power. But I mean,
who wouldn't? Who
dude,
right,
Nick Foles breaks his arm, shatters it, looks at the TV and says, "It's your turn." Yeah, exactly. Like
you're next.
You're next. Like you're crying on the spot. Like
to be fair, even Bakugo I think kind of sheds a little bit of tears because of that incident.
Yeah, like it's a crazy thing. Like your hero. Like literally, there's not something. The closest thing I can think of. Like of someone that would mean to us as much as All Might means to that civilization is like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dude,
that is the closest someone that is universally loved. Like, could you imagine?
I can't believe Dwayne The Rock Johnson did not make any.
I know that's what I'm saying, but could you imagine? Like, think about it this way: if we had a president that we liked as much as the people from My Hero liked All Might, like how cool is that to think about?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a comparison.
Yeah. Dude, what is Trump's quirk? The wall.
Yeah, the wall. Brick by brick.
His quirk, the wall. He can segregate any group of people in any nation.
Oh, it's gonna be huge.
Don't shut us down, Trump, please.
All for one.
I like McDonald's, I promise. You can buy me some.
But yeah, anyways, on a very odd tangent, my number 2 is Izuku Midoriya. Wow. And that brings us to our number 1s.
We're at the ones now.
This is
the
it.
big one, literally.
Okay, so I say I'm a big One Piece fan, and I have to go with Monkey D. Luffy, the future king of the pirates, as my number 1. So when the anime first starts out, of course he is the literal stereotypical shonen. He kicks everyone's ass in the beginning, doesn't struggle at all. Like he literally does. I don't think he struggles till about like 2 arcs in. Maybe he does a little bit, but most of the time he doesn't. But it slowly shows you how much he's worked to get like that. Like he ate the gum fruit, and that you're made of rubber. Where do you go from there? You're not very strong. You're just you're durable. So it shows you later on like the backstory of him, like. He meets his pirate Shanks, he tells him how much he means to him, and then Shanks sacrifices his arm to save him. And it really sticks with him, wow, if he can do that, I want to be just like him as a pirate. Gets his straw hat, and then it goes on to show you that he really trained for he got the gun fruit by I think he was age literally 6 or 7.
Yeah, he was young.
And he trains 10 years until he's 17 to get there. And it's just cool that they show you that he to get there. That's what it takes. So to put the time in.
Yeah.
And then he meets all these people, and he only takes on people in his crew that also have struggle, or he just likes it. He'll look at someone and be like, "I know you're a good person. You're in my crew already." And they're like, "No, I'm not in your crew." I'm like, "Yeah, you are."
And he's like, "Just wait. You're gonna join my crew."
And he helps everyone. Anyone that needs help, he's like, "I got this." He's just a great dude, and I love his power. His power, the gum fruit. It takes a lot of imagination with Paramecia devil fruits, because you're just an element. That's really much all they are. Mm-hmm. And it takes your imagination to know what attacks are, any of the attacks, and it's just pretty cool.
Yeah, Luffy's a great. I know I keep bringing him up when I say not relatable characters, but he's
while I might not think he's relatable, he's someone that I would 100% want to be friends with. You know what I mean?
Not,
Like,
not
for
just
sure.
that, yeah, not just that, but like people want to like fight for him. Too.
Exactly.
Like if he's captured, like anything, people are like, we need to save him, or like they trust him so much.
yeah, like looking at my list of characters, he definitely cares about his friends more than like any of the people.
Yeah, because I know whenever the crew is like, "Oh man, we're in trouble," they all know like, "Oh, but
Luffy's
Luffy knows
gonna
what
pull
to
us
do.
out."
He's gonna know what
Yeah.
to do. Like, don't worry, don't like bet on him."
Yeah, and I've talked a couple times this episode about like facial expressions, like showing emotions. I think both reading and watching, I haven't really watched a lot of One Piece, but I've been reading it. Is the Luffy smile? I think is the most endearing smile,
Dude,
like
it's
in a show.
contagious, dude.
Yeah, it's just huge, and yeah, it's Luffy's a good character.
Yeah, I just love like the
Something
pirate
good happened.
aspect. He has like his own ship. It's just really cool, and I relate to him a lot.
It's a good one. Number
Yeah.
one,
Yeah, number one,
Monkey D. Luffy,
King of the Pirates.
King of the Pirates.
That came as no shock to me when I read that.
My number one is a character that I like I did not think was going to be number one. Then the more I thought about it, I couldn't think of a character that
I wasn't
put in number
surprised
one.
that this character was your number one, but I was like, "Oh, okay, that's a pretty cool one."
Yeah, I have Kakashi from Naruto as my number one. He's a character I don't even think really might have been in my top 10 the first time I made it. I think I had Jiraiya in the top 10.
Oh wow.
And then I was like, oh my gosh, how could I have forgotten Kakashi? And then the more I thought about it, like, I wouldn't always say Kakashi was my favorite character, but then anytime someone would bring him up, I'd get so excited to talk about him. Kakashi's just, that's another character that I think we can all agree literally just looks cool. Like, even if you don't watch Naruto, like,
So cool.
He's so recognized. He's got the white hair, his face is covered.
The vest.
He has the one Sharingan. Like, he just has such a sick
The mask.
concept. Yeah, the mask hiding in his face. And I'll just never forget, Little Merrick had a Shonen Jump, and it was the Shonen Jump where it's the Zabuza arc. And the first
Coffin.
panel was Kakashi breaking out of the water coffin, like stopping the Demon Blade Shuriken on his hand, like in his bleed and everything. And I just thought that looked so cool. And I was like, wow, like I gotta watch this one day.
One of my favorite things about Kakashi is that he always knows what to do. Is like has a great fighting style. Is super serious most of the time, but he also has this like super like not serious side to him.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things. It was like a really quick scene. I think it was either in like the end of Naruto or like the beginning of Boruto, where the Lady Tsunadi's assistant's pig is in the Hokage's office. And the pig keeps going oink oink, and Kakashi's going through all this paperwork, and each time the pig says oink oink, Kakashi's like oink oink, and I was like, this dude, like, who is this man?
Yeah, he's such a good, and he's a teacher, you know what I mean? Like sensei,
Yeah.
like, he's such a good teacher to the three of them early, and he cares about them all
He had a troubled
throughout
squad.
the show.
That's
Yeah,
like,
he had the hardest
when
job.
Hokage comes to you and says, okay, you have the last Sharingan besides yours, the last Uchiha,
Yep.
who wants to, like, basically murder
Kill his brother, yeah.
We have a nine-tailed fox Jinchuriki, and a former Hokage's son, and then we have some girl that is part of a dying clan. So.
Yeah, like, so have fun. And
Yeah.
he's just like, okay, sick. But yeah, he's a cool character. The Sharingan, his use of the Sharingan, the nickname the Copy Ninja is just sick. Like, you see him in fights, and he's copying the other person's abilities before they can finish doing it. Like,
He's a tragic character,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Loses his dad. Well, loses mom first.
yep.
His dad commits
suicide. And the reason he commits suicide is because he helped one of the people in his squad over finishing the mission.
Yep.
And people were pissed at him for it.
And then he loses his best friend,
Yep.
Obito. Then he loses his other best friend and basically love interest, Rin.
Yep.
And loses his sensei, Minato.
Yeah.
And then loses his other mentor as the third Hokage. Like, it just...
And then he loses his pupil, Sasuke. Like,
Oh, God.
yeah. Kakashi's been through a lot. He's a killer character. Very flawed, very tragic.
Yeah, they get through his backstory.
Very
He was,
cool.
like, very, like, mean back
Yeah,
then,
he was.
too.
He was a bully.
Mm-hmm.
Good
He's
character.
young,
That's my
yeah.
number one. Kakashi Hatake.
That's a good one.
Good number ones. My number one, we've all alluded to it, is Kamina from Gurren Lagann.
Just who the hell do you think you are?
Right. I mean,
He
so
knows, bro.
He does know, bro.
He knows, bro.
This is just, I think, one of the most memorable characters and one of the most quotable characters that I think I've ever run into in an anime. He was just cool. I already knew, like, when I went through, I wrote down just, like, characters that I could remember well that I like thought I might want to put on the list. I ended up with like 20 or so names, and he was one of the first ones I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was trying to put him in, like eventually it just became more apparent that he was going to be my number one. Just an overall cool character.
He's so quotable.
Yeah.
Believe in the self that believes in you, that me that believes in
Believes in the
yourself.
me that believes in you. Yeah.
Let me see you grit those teeth.
Anytime I hear that phrase, like,
The music too. Have you ever like look up the Kamina inspirational music and just listen to that, and you're just gonna
I'll
want
probably like run through a wall.
You literally will. You'll,
Yeah.
you'll like do like 10 sets
Like,
of.
you guys know those motivational posters that people have, like it's always like the nice picture of nature, then like
Oh yeah.
Teamwork.
be your own boss. Like only you can get through the day. I feel like there could be a line of motivational posters of just Kamina quotes. Tell me you wouldn't want like just a badass lion roaring, and it's just like the quotes like "Let me see you grit those teeth." Like,
I just want like the close up of him like going in to punch Simone. with
yeah,
that.
that would look cool too. He's
Just the glasses. I love the glasses cape
The glasses,
thing. It's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we talk about how quotable he is. Our friend Byrne actually told me that he couldn't stand the phase after watching Gurren Lagann where Lake and I would say bro like every other sentence.
You don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
We'd say it. Apparently we said it all the time. It's like, God, I hate the word bro.
That's
now."
weird because I say bro all the time, not having to do with hanging in Gurren Lagann. So that's pretty funny.
yeah, and that's what I told him too. I was like, I don't think that's the show. We have a lot of friends that say bro a lot. But yeah, Kamina's just...
You guys
He's a
must
man.
have over-broed then.
Yeah, we broed too hard.
But yeah,
He's just so influential too. Like everyone in that series towards the end, you can just see how that man impacted each one of them. Like even with Simone, with everyone.
Oh yeah. Well, I was in that same predicament where I thought I was gonna put Simone over Kamina because, like, he ends up being the main protagonist and the hero, but a lot of his development comes from Kamina. Not to mention, Kamina ends up being the hero in the end, even after he passes
true.
away.
Yeah, that's cool. Kamina.
But yeah,
Great
my
guy.
number one.
That's it, guys.
Yeah.
That's our top 10.
It's our top 10.
List. There's definitely some people I could have put in here. I was thinking, I loved Durara as an anime, and I was thinking, like, what character from that? I could have done Shizuo or, like, any of them, but I'm like, I can't pick a single one that could be
I don't
on
think
the
there's a
list.
single character in that one that's strong enough because that whole thing is about the interaction.
It's about the community. Yeah, I agree.
Before we wrap up, are there any characters in anything you're watching right now that, say we would do the top 10 in like a year, that you think would be on the list?
I honestly would say Asta from Black Clover.
Black Clover?
I really like Black Clover. Just the whole demon thing about it. Like, he doesn't have magic.
Yeah.
Like, he's anti-magic, like swords cut magic, so he's basically like the opposite of everyone. And it just turns out to be a very cool thing, and I think later on down the road, I think Asta will be up there.
Yeah. I've got two. I think Norman from The Promised Neverland. I wouldn't be surprised if Norman made it on my list if we did this again down the road. Someone else that I'd have a hard time not putting on there is Kirishima with the art coming up. I think he's going to be on a lot of people's top 10s lists.
Dude,
He was on my long list when I wrote down characters.
Just you wait. He might break into your top 10 soon.
Yeah, he's
Very
cool.
interesting.
He's killer. Anything in what you're watching right now, like, that you think might break in?
Nothing that I don't think I had already covered. Obviously, Rimuru had already made it on there. But no one else as of now that I think really was strong enough to make it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. I definitely think this is something that we should touch on again.
Oh yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
they're
It'd be
down the
very
line.
interesting, like
How much
a
has changed?
year or more down the line, to see where
Yep.
this goes.
So that'd be cool. But yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps up our episode. That's our top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Pretty Much Anything Nerdy. We're excited for more episodes down the road. Obviously, we've talked about anime the last couple. We haven't decided on a topic for the next one yet, but it'll probably be something around, maybe the Marvel movie. There's some video game central topic. Just to kind of switch things up.
Yeah, definitely got to cover more nerdy things.
Yep. So exactly, we pretty much love anything nerdy, and we'd love to talk about anything nerdy. So please, if you have any ideas, shoot us an email at prettymuchanythingnerdy@gmail.com, or we are now on Twitter. You can check us out, PMAN Podcast. Shoot us a DM, interact with us, follow us. We'd love to interact with you on Twitter. If you have any episode ideas, please reach out to us. Episode 3 of Pretty Much Anything Nerdy is being recorded on February 7th, 2019. Lake almost got me with 2018 again. We're time travelers.
That always happens.
Also not February 7th. It is now the 11th.
It is the 11th.
Is it really? There's 10 days to
Pretty
my
Much
birthday.
Anything Nerdy is
Let's go.
being recorded on February 11th, 2019. That is the correct date. It is not when you'll be listening to this. And our music is BitQuest by Kevin MacLeod.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in. Can't wait to talk to you guys soon.
See you guys.